In the last month alone, I spent over $15,000 on backlinks, and this is exactly how it affected my clients' SEO results. Was it worth it? Was it a huge waste of money? In this video, I'll show you the exact process I used to build them, as well as the direct effect they had on overall SEO performance. But firstly, if you don't know who I am, my name is Cromwell, and I am the founder of Newsies, an e-commerce SEO agency exclusively for 7, 8, and 9-figure Shopify brands. So why do backlinks matter? Now, there is a direct correlation between the number of good backlinks you build and how much money you make with SEO. It is as direct a relationship, let's say, as going to the gym, lifting weights, and getting stronger. The more weight you lift over time and progressively overload your muscles, the stronger you will become, okay? That is an indisputable fact. Similarly, the more links you build over time, the stronger your website will be in search results. Backlinks are essentially votes of authority in Google's search algorithms, kind of like a popularity contest. The more links you have, the more likely you are to win said popularity contest, or in this case, the #1 spot on Google. Link volume, so the number of links you actually have, is not the only thing that matters, okay? A vote from a celebrity, let's say, in terms of the popularity contest, is far more credible than a vote from some random person on the side of the street, let's say. That's like the basic premise of influencer marketing, right? Vote of confidence from an influencer with 10,000 followers seemingly means more than a vote from an influencer with 100 followers. In the context of SEO, a backlink from a site like MSN, Forbes, Wikipedia, Yahoo, AP News, Home and Garden, things like that, those links are worth exponentially more than a link from some mommy blogger or some food blogger or travel blogger or whatever. How much they matter? Unfortunately, a bit difficult to quantify. It's hard to say how much exactly one backlink can improve specific keyword rankings. It's also equally as difficult to quantify how much your SEO will improve from, let's say, 4 to 5 specific links. And this is true whether it's 5 links from a mommy blogger or 5 links from Forbes, right? Now, of course, 5 links from Forbes, as I just said, is far more lucrative and beneficial to your site than 5 links from some travel blogger. You'll definitely know, like if you take 2 identical sites and you put those 2 variations, like the site with the 5 Forbes links is definitely going to see an increase. It's just hard to say exactly how much, okay? Now, this is just one of the reasons that you cannot try out SEO or link building for just 1 month, okay? 4 or 5 links in the first 30 days of a campaign will likely not yield any significant gains for your website. If anything, any notable improvements will probably be anecdotal in nature or seasonal, or they're probably the result of like any major technical or on-page SEO changes that were made. The value in links, or the value of links rather, is really in the compounding results they produce over time. And when I say over time, I don't mean 30 days, I mean 4, 5, 6 months, and even more so like 1 year, 2 years, 3 years down the road. So let's look at a few examples. Example 1, these are all brands I work with currently, okay? So these are sites I work on. October 2023, they had 1,600 referring domains. End of April of this year, just about 2,400 referring domains. Same brand, traffic has grown in the same time from about 12,000 to just shy of 26,000, okay? So more than doubled, right? Just by building adding 800 referring domains over time. Example 2, same thing, 800 referring domains, now up to, looks like about somewhere over 1,300. So about 500 more. Traffic has grown from 24,000 to 36,000, okay? 1.5x increase. Example 3, 384 referring domains in October, now up to nearly 600. Traffic has grown from 9,400 to just shy of 22,000. It's probably like 21,000 or so. Example 4, looks like 300 referring domains, now up to nearly 600, so doubled there. Traffic is up from 6,000 to nearly 18,000. Okay, so nearly a 3x increase in traffic. So you see, like over time, over like roughly a 6 to 7 month span, more backlinks yields more traffic, which yields more money. Okay, that is a fact, right? Now, here's the problem with most backlinks, and if you've ever done any backlink building, these are probably going to sound, unfortunately, very familiar to you. So the fact of the matter is that most people suck at building backlinks. SEO agencies, link building agencies, freelancers, even PR link building agencies. And unfortunately, a very overwhelming majority of them are not good at it. One of the probably the most common way to build links is guest posts, and 95% of those are entirely worthless. The reason is that most of these kinds of guest posts are based off, like the reason they even pick them is because they satisfy a domain rating requirement and a traffic requirement, right? So maybe they want to build links that are, DR 30 or above, or, have more than 5,000 visitors a month. Well, unfortunately, these sites look great on paper, right? That's what it looks like. But then you figure out that the sites are, let's say, not at all relevant to your niche. Maybe they don't have much organic search traffic above 5,000. Maybe they did at one point and they took a big hit, or they have been at 5,000 visits a month for years, which means they're not a growing site. If you click on the links, I've seen God, some of the links that agencies that worked with brands I now work with before I work with them, like if you click on some of the links they build for them, they are visually like appalling to look at. Like I'm shocked that an agency would actually build that link for a brand. And on top of that, like if you're building guest posts, I've rarely ever been turned down to ask for a guest post. So like if they'll just link to any site, probably not a really good sign that the site is of high quality, right? That will inadvertently turn that site into a link farm. So on paper, it looks like, yeah, hey, you got a DR60 backlink, which is great, again, on paper. But this number, just like traffic, is easily manipulated with things like private blog networks and cloud stacks, okay? These two numbers, traffic and domain rating, mean absolutely nothing on their own, which is why these two are just one of 5 factors we evaluate when we actually build any backlink for our clients. I've been buying backlinks for 4 years, and I've never had an e-com site get penalized for doing so, even though buying backlinks is very clearly against Google's quality guidelines. Every single backlink we build for our clients has to pass a multi-step QA process. If it fails any of the steps, we simply don't build it. All right, so I'm gonna walk you through what those steps are. I said that most of those sites that I've seen agencies build links on are visually appalling. So the first thing we do is actually just visit the site itself. It's the most basic step that most people skip. I click around the site for a little bit and just see how it looks, right? I don't need to be perfect, right? I just want it to be clean looking, and it's going to be associated with your brand if you're building a link from that site to yours. So you need to at least answer the question for yourself, like, am I happy to have this associated with my brand? Okay. Generally, things to look out for: a ton of ads, a bunch of affiliate links, posts about seemingly any topic under the sun. If it has any of these things, we just don't build the link. All right, the site needs to have a central theme at least and be somewhat user-friendly. I know I was kind of dogging on like mommy bloggers and food bloggers and travel bloggers, but all of those blogs have central themes, right? Whether it's travel or food or parenting or whatever. If it's relevant to your niche and it's got good traffic and it passes the rest of these steps I'm about to walk through, like it's a good link no matter what. All right. Second step: evaluate the domain authority, domain rating, authority score. Whatever metric you want to use, they're all the same, more or less. These numbers can be manipulated, right? Which is why it's just one of a few steps, one of 4 or 5 steps in our process, okay? That part has not changed. It can be manipulated. But it is a quick reference to judge the actual quality of the link, right? The minimum domain rating we'll build from is usually 30 to 35, and we typically don't build any links from sites below this threshold unless they have like a skyrocketing traffic pattern. Next step, analyze traffic. So traffic is generally, in my experience, a better indicator of how valuable a backlink can actually be for your site compared to domain rating. And it's generally speaking more difficult to actually manipulate than domain rating. We only build links from sites that have at least 10,000 organic visitors a month. Ideally, it's way more, but not just 10,000, right? The traffic must also be trending flat or up. So if it went from like 20,000 and then it got caught up in the November updates and now it's at like 10,000, like that's no longer a good link, right? Because Google clearly doesn't trust it. So it also can't have any major declines in the last 6 or so months. And the traffic also must be dispersed across 10 pages. There can't be one page driving like 9,900 visits and the other pages effectively doing nothing, okay? So I want the traffic to be relatively dispersed. That way, if one of those pages goes down in rankings, like we're not going to lose the link quality. Last step here, the guest posting site or link insertion site or whatever site you're looking at, their backlink profile. If a site is willing to link to you for a fee, they're going to do it. They're going to also do it to another site. They may exclude CBD, gambling, sex-related sites, alcohol too sometimes, but most other niches are on the table. We look at what kinds of other sites they link to and how many actually link to them. Looking for a ratio of like 1 to 1.5. So that's outgoing versus incoming links. And that's like, so let's say we want 1,000 outgoing links versus 1,500 incoming links or more. This is really to avoid link farms and also just making sure we're not getting caught up in a site that links to literally anyone. I've already talked about kind of how our process works and why most SEO agencies and link building agencies of all nature really suck at building guest posts, okay? So let's dive a little bit deeper into that. The problem with most SEO agencies is that, I mean, they already do guest posts, right? But that's because it's crazy good margins for them and it's super easy operationally, okay? There is very little operational drag involved, right? You just have to, you can use AI to write a guest post and pay a fee and you're done, right? That's it. The problem is with guest posts is that once the other site actually hits publish on it, they don't do anything else. They don't build any internal links to it, which means it's probably not going to get indexed unless you do tiered link building. They don't promote it, okay? It is effectively an orphan page unless you take any other steps. And an orphan page that links to you is absolutely worthless to your website, okay? Even if it's on a big domain, even if it's like on a DR60 domain with like 20,000 visitors, like if it's an orphan, it doesn't effectively do anything for you. Okay. So here's what we do differently at my agency. We ask the publishing website to build the internal links to the post once it's live, and we even suggest which pages they link from and which anchors to use. So it's literally a no-brainer for them. We literally do all of the work. So it's so ridiculously simple for them to add it, and we eliminate any amount of friction that say like, oh yeah, I don't want to do it. Like we just actually suggest it, and then they just have to go make the edits. And more often than not, there's like paying a VA to do it, which is like $5. So 80% of the time, they usually say yes, which is great. For the 20% of the time that they do say no, we will build a few tiered links to that post so that it can get indexed and actually pass value over to our client's site. I know for a fact that most SEO agencies specifically do not build tiered links because they slow things down. That is true. It does slow things down on our end, but I want to make sure every link we build is valuable, and that way there's no waste at all. It's also not in my client's best interest to build links that are easy and cheap to build, right? Like I work with 7, 8, and 9-figure brands. Like they didn't get to where they are by doing the easy and cheap things. So there's definitely no way they're getting to the next level by doing the easy and cheap things. We put together link stacks each month for our clients, and that's basically like a collection of the kinds of links we want to build for the client. And we mix the following to maximize the value within the link building budget that we've allocated. Things like guest posts and tier links, which I've already talked about quite a bit, link insertions, reactive PR. We've been doing some Reddit and tier link building as well, and also some press syndication lately. Usually we pick 2 or 3 of these categories a month, sometimes more. We really end up building probably anywhere from like 5 to 15 links a month. Sometimes it's more with press syndication, but usually it's 5 to 15. That's a pretty good number we're finding. And there's not really a secret hack to any of these, right? Like these are the exact same stacks that we use for the examples that I showed you earlier, where we compared the number of referring domains to the number of traffic. We don't do any like $6,000 PR link building fees for like random haphazard links. Every single link we build has purpose. Like every single one is doing something, okay? There's no orphan guest post. Like every link we build serves a particular function. And one final element of our link building we haven't really touched on yet is anchor variation. So here's how that works. If we do guest posts, we lately have been doing a lot more branded anchors, and we will point these to the homepage and the collection pages on our client site. If we do link insertions with contextual anchors, so like a keyword is related, right? Those will typically go to blog posts and collection pages in some cases. Think like broad phrase match keywords. We do press syndication. We almost always do brand anchors, and these are again going to the home pages and the collection pages. And if we do any Reddit and tiered link building, we also typically use branded anchors as well. These go to the homepage. If you want to learn more about building backlinks effectively, check out my other video about how to build high authority PR backlinks for free, or check out my ultimate link building guide, which I just dropped a few weeks ago. And remember to like and subscribe. Peace.